Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a necklace. It's going to be 2-strand necklace using our Birds of a Feather design kit from SoftFlex's. And this is going to be our central piece. Isn't that pretty? So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, we've got that focal piece that I showed you. I think it's a vintage piece. It's got little birdies on this side and leaf branches on this side. So we're going to connect to the front piece. We've got our dark blue lapis medium SoftFlex beading wire. This is only a partial spool. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to get more or not. From my stash, I have these little tiny ball spacers. Aren't those cute? And these pearls, regular daisy spacers, and a lobster claw, some jump rings, and a whole bunch of crimp tubes. Well, the crimp tubes are from the kit as well. So from the kit, we have these pave beads, these what I call eyes. They're a Picasso design on the side. We have the 3 birds. These little birds are going to go with the eyes. And the paves are going to have the gray tiles beside them. In this first little row of what we're starting. So what we need to do is we need to take and cut some wire. Now I'm thinking I want this to be 20 to 22 inches, so I'm going to cut 24 inches of wire. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of the 24. This one up here, and then we'll cut a second piece, and it looks like I'm going to need some more another spool of wire to finish this off. That's all right, I have some in my wire drawer. So cut this off. It didn't cut very well. There we go. And what we're going to do to start is we're going to attach these 2 wires to our focal, one on either side. Now ordinarily I would have just done one side at a time, but I want to make sure that I have my beads. I don't accidentally put them in the other somewhere when then I don't have them. So we'll push this crimp tube down onto here. Make sure the wires aren't crossed. And then get our magical crimpers. And we put our crimp tube right in the center and squish. Then we turn and squish again. And we keep going back and forth like that until we get a nice little round ball. See? Check it. It's tight. So now we're going to put the other side on as well. And we're going to be working both sides at once. So I'm going to do one portion, and then I'm going to switch to the other side and do the other portion. And of course that means we want bead stoppers out here, but we'll get those in a moment. So now we'll go into the other side of the top, and we're just going to do the top strands right now. We'll get the top strands at least partially done, and then we'll switch to the lower strands. But in the meantime, we're going to work on the top strands. See, it looks like that's crossed, so there we go. That looks like about the same. Needs to go in just a bit more. Okay, now we'll crimp this side. There we go. Okay, So now the first thing we want is one of the small pearls. And I'll probably need to get some more pearls out, but that's fine. Now these are glass pearls, and their hole should be big enough to go through there, and it is. Now if these had been real freshwater pearls or even seed pearls, they wouldn't have gone on there because their holes are too small. So then we want a small. Oh, that is coming through the spacer there. There we go. And then a large. Come on, you. Stay with the... Okay. Now we'll put another spacer and another small. Now we're going to move to this fellow here. So instead of just one spacer, I'm going to put on 2 or 3 spacers just to give it some definition here. I think probably 3. And then this guy. And then we'll do 2 spacers. The bird. And let's make sure he's facing the right direction here. We want him to be so he's not standing on his head. And then 2 more. This piece again. Incidentally, one of these birds is going to hang down on the bottom, so we'll take him out right now so he doesn't get confused. And then we want 3 again. And a small, a large, a small of the pearls. Oops. Dropped one of my spacers. Now we're going to put in a small, and then we're going to put in a spacer, I should say. Then we're going to put in one of these pinch beads right here. And then we're going to start, and this is the only time I'm not going to use a spacer, we're going to start with our super duos. I'm going to put 1 super duo, one of these tinky winky little tiny ball spacers, another super duo, another ball spacer, and another super duo. Then we'll have another pinch bead. So now when we come to this spot on the lower level, we're going to try and get, because we're going to be down below here, we're going to make a loop up to here and go through these. But not right now. Right now we're going to go and do the opposite side exactly the same. So we'll start with our small pearl. I'm not going to use that one. It doesn't look like it has a very, it's got stuff in the holes. So, and because this has got to go over the line, unless I decide to cut it, we want it to not do so. Okie dokie. There we have both of the first branches done of this. So now we'll go on to the next set. And that one, actually, let's get the bottom side going too. So to do the bottom side, we'll need to cut some more wire. And we've got, this bead goes into, and a couple of these go into the bottom section. We're going to do a little loop with the we're missing something. I guess we weren't. Anyway, so these are the paves are going to go down in the second row with the gray ghost table cuts, and they'll go down in here. And then we'll have more pearl strand going through as well. This one actually will have a lot more pearls because it's going to loop around a little bit and go up to here. So, because we're going to put loops in this next section, it has to be longer than the 20 or 22 that we make the upper section. So, let's see how much wire we have left on here. It definitely needs to be 24. Oops. Well, this one's not enough. It's not even 24. So we're going to have to get another spool out. We'll put this back onto its spool, and we'll use it for something else at a later time. So, because I'm probably going to want 20. Probably going to want like 26 inches at least for the bottom wire, maybe even 28. Probably 28 would be better because we are going to do a little loop-de-looping. So we need to have that extra little bit for looping around. So let's get out another roll of our lapis, and we'll open this up, and we're going to get about 28 inches. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And that actually may end up being a lot more than I want, because I may not decide it's not going to, I don't want it to be that long of a necklace. If that's the case, well then we'll have wasted some wire, but oh well. So I think I made this 28, so we'll cut the other one, another strand of 28, and then we'll hook this on so we can do our (24), 28. So now we'll hook these two pieces onto our bottom hooks here. We've got to get a crimp tube here. And we're going to put it on the bottom. Come on, wire, get out of my way, sweetie. And it's going to go through here and over here through our crimp tube, and then we'll bring it down. Oh, I need a bit bigger so it can go around the bar if it wants to. We want it to have movement here. So now that I've got that on here, we will come on, take our crimping pliers, put that in there and squish, and then turn and squish again. Oops, it rolled right out of there, so we didn't get a good squish. There we go. That one's on good. Now let's switch and get the other one on as well. We got more strands going on here than so let's get another crimp tube, and it goes to the other bottom. And on she goes. Now I will warn those of you watching, this is probably going to be a relatively long video because we are doing it 4 strands. So, just to warn you. Oops, I didn't get that in right. Sometimes I can fix these, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fix this one. I went a little crooked, and so it's not forming the ball quite right. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Still not real pretty compared to the others, but it's not really bad either. So we'll leave it. I was debating if I wanted to cut it off and do a new one. So now we're going to push these strands up out of our way somewhat because, uh-oh, I think that was my pave bead I just dropped. So I'm going to have to find that because it's going to be the one I need for this strand. Actually, I think I dropped one of my gray ghost ones too. So we'll be back as soon as I find those. Okay, I found my beads. So what we're going to do now with this with the bottom strand, that corner must be a little thicker than the others, but whatever, is we're going to take 2 small pearls, 1 spacer, 2 spacer, then the large, a spacer, see if we can get these all to slide onto here. Come on, you. Okay. Right. And then the large with its spacer and another small. Now we may end up needing to put more pearls in here because our beads for the bottom portion, like this, are obviously quite a bit smaller. But we'll see as we go along. So let's go with, we now want our 3 small spacers. The gray one, 2 spacers. And then we'll want the pave and the other gray. Okay, there's the 3 spacers. Now we're going to go to our pearls again. Now I'm going to bring one of these, if I can. I've got them tangled up now. Great. Okay, go over there. Now we want to see approximately where they're falling with each other here. Ugh, I have too many lines going. We're getting all tangled up. Oh dear. Okay. So here is this side and here is this side. So here's where, go over there, where we're sitting at right now. So we need to come up to here, but we want to leave this going into a slight curl like that. So it goes down. So let's get our pearls on. We're going to go small, large, 2 small, a large, and a small, and see where we're at then. So we go small, large, small, now this is where we ended up above, but we're not going to end there on this. We're going to keep going with another small, large, small. Now we'll see how it's hanging, because the next bead should be our little pinch bead. But is it going to be hanging enough to make me happy? It could drop down more, but I think it's going to be all right as is. If we wanted to, we could add another large, small, or another small, large, small, and make it come down quite a bit more. But I don't know that I want it down that far. So if we pull this tight and then push this down to where the pinch bead is, I think it's going to be good enough. So let's put the pinch bead on. And the next step is to start going through our respective little super duos. So we'll go through a super duo, pull her up. Then we want one of these teeny guys again. Then the next super duo. Nope, not both of them, baby. Just one. Then another small. And the remaining super duo. Now we want to pull this up, but at the same time we don't want to get it kinked, so we have to carefully pull it up and bring the wire the way we want it. Bing! Now we're tightening it up. And we'll put the other pinch bead on this side, and this is how it's going to hang here. Put this pinch bead on here, and then we will hook both wires into our bead stopper. Get them tight, pull them together, put them in. And now we can actually really see how it's going to hang, and see it's going to, oh, this one is not all the way tight up here. There we go. So it will hang like so. So now it's time to do the other side, this side over here. And we'll do it exactly the same as we just did this one. Okay, since we don't have any more of these or the pave beads left, we're going to take and put these, the little gray ghosts, because I have 4 of those, and some of our little gray beads in either of our upper strands. So now we're going to do this exactly this way, except for this inside it, instead of this block right here. So let's grab one of our top strands, and we will start with a spacer and a small pearl. And hopefully once these start spreading, getting more away from, we'll get away from our bead stopper there that's on the other line. Actually, I think I may just move this up here so it's not in the way so much. So then we'll do our 3 like we did before. Oops, dropped one. Then 1 of the gray, 1 spacer, the second gray, so it starts looking like this. Then we'll put 2 of the spacers before our little gray ghost table cut. Go back to 2 again. Little gray. One. And now we have our 3 here before our pearls. And now we go back to our pearls like we had it before. Come on, pearl, where's your hole? There we go. Small, large, small, spacer, pinch bead. Where are you at, pinch beads? There we go. Now we're going into our super duos again. So super duo. Where's my teeny tiny little spacers? What did I do with them? There they are. Ball spacer. Come on, baby, go on. Super duo. Ball spacer. Super duo. And then our pinch bead again. And this is our second strand going up. Oh my goodness, we're out of the... Okay, I can fix that though. We're going to just put this on here for right now, but I noticed that this one has slid out of its pearls, and we don't want it to do that. Because if it doesn't stay in, it's going to end up having to be cut, so it doesn't become a problem. Now let's push you down. There we go. So now we're going to do this second side, or the and then the bottom side is going to go with the same side of pattern as this one here had. So it'll be small, large, small, small, large, small, and then our set of glass just like this, and then the other pearls. Now I'm thinking, because this is going to be exactly the same size as this, it might make a bigger loop here. If so, we will have to remove some of our beads. We'll see. Let's go and get her going here. See, that's small, small, large. Almost forgot my 3 spacers here. Rory, settle down. Now see, we're getting to be quite a bit bigger of a loop than down here, and I don't want that much. So I think I'm going to take off at least this big one here, and let's see where we're at then. I think we can live with that. So I think we'll go with that one. And our pinch bead, where's our pinch beads? There they are. And now we will go through our super duos again. Come on, you turn. So now that we're done with this side, we've got it entirely completed, as you can see. Now we're going to do the other side, and it's going to be exactly the same as we did on this side over here. So we're going to just start with the small, large, small, and then the pattern with the gray stone here, gray beads. So we'll start with our small. Okay, there's this half. Now we're going to take this off here, put it over here, and go over to do this other half on this side. So we start with small, small, large, small. Working with these long lines, I seem to be determined to hit my camera. Okay, now we've got this, and here we are at this length. So let's measure and see how long we are right now. I do have some more of the little gray beads if we want to put them in with the pearls on the next batch up. So we are at 12 here. And then we're at another 6. So that's 18. And I did want it to be at least 20. So we'll do one more batch up the side of pearls with, I think I've probably got some, like I said, some more of the gray. So I'll get the gray out and we will decide on how we're going to proceed from here. But there is what we got so far. It's a little bit too hard to see it on the mat, but we'll get it so we can later. So we need at least 8 of the large ones for another side up. 4 for each side, so I'll need to get some more of those. And about 20 of the smalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like I have enough of those, but I do need some more large ones. And we're going to need some more gold spacers. And some of the gray beads. Okay. And our gray beads. We have to decide how we're going to do our gray beads since we only have gray beads left. Well, I have one blueberry, but unfortunately it's only one. The other one is a little tiny blue, and I don't want to mix those up, because if there was one more of either of those, we would put those in the middle, but there's not. So we're going to use I think maybe 4 of these in each. So need one more. Okay. So now it's time to decide how we're going to do this. And I think we'll start with this side. And I probably have a lot more thread than I needed, as it turns out, because we're only going to do one more batch up, I think. So, oh, I know why I have too much. I said I wanted 24 inches, so I cut 24 inches of each side. And let's face it, you only need it for half of that. So that was a boo-boo on my part. So let's start our pattern here. We're going to go with, oh, do I put this on here usually? Yeah, I do. And then we'll go with a small. Since we're doing the top bar right now, we'll do small, large, small, and then we'll start with our grays. Oh, maybe I don't have the top one. Maybe this is the bottom one I grabbed here. I think it is the bottom one I grabbed here. Well, we don't want to do that, because the bottom one needs 2 down here. Well, let's just go ahead and keep doing the bottom one, since we're doing the bottom one strand anyway. We'll just go to the small. 2 small, a large, a small. And then I think we'll do the 3 spacers and then 1 of the gray. So 1, 2, 3 spacers. 2, 3, 1 gray. 1 spacer. 1 gray. 2 spacers, gray, 1 spacer, gray, and then 3 spacers. So here's how we're doing this pattern. This is the bottom one, of course, since I accidentally grabbed the bottom one instead of the top. So then we'll do the this pattern this direction now with the small, large, small. Actually, I think it's 2 smalls, is it not? Yes, it is 2 smalls. Two smalls. So there is our bottom pattern. Now we have to put on our pinch bead. And we'll be doing this a little opposite, because we're going to put on our super duos now. So now we'll put on 1 super duo, 1 tiny, one tiny, go on there, 2nd super duo, a tiny, and super duo number 3, and our pinch bead. I go bumping the camera again. Sorry about that, folks. So here is our bottom strand. So put our bead stopper on, and we will start our top strand, which will be this same pattern here, but we'll be dropping off one of each of the small pearls on either side. So we start with a small pearl. Actually, we start with a spacer. Actually, you know, we don't have spacers here, but we left off the spacers on this side. They're on everywhere else, so I may have to redo that side to get my spacers in, because I left the spacers off by my pinch beads there on the bottom. That's not good. We don't want to do that. Do small, large, small again. This side's done. Oop. Now we just need to feed this through the super duos with its small beads, and we will be done with this side. Oops, one of you guys are over here. So we'll go through our first super duo, then one of the tinies. Oh, looks like I might need some more tinies, unless they're high. Oh, they're there. I see them. I have plenty. And a pinch bead. Now we're done with this side, unless we decide we need another round of something. And I don't think we probably will. We'll just have to put it together here. Okay, there is our finished side over here. So that's one side done. And now we're going to go over here. I see something that needs to change, but that's all right. We can get to it. I noticed I made a mistake right here. So I'm going to take it off and I'm going to put these spacers in off camera, and I will be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back to where I messed it. I fixed where I messed it up, so now we're back to where we are here. Though I do notice I'm out of pinch beads, so these 2 pinch beads that are on the top over here, since this is where we're ending, I'm pretty sure, we'll take those off so we have them for the other side here. And then we're going to see if both strands of wire will go through one of the pearls. I'm thinking, or maybe even one of these little gray beads. I doubt if they'll go through these gray beads, but we'll see. No. So one of the pearls will probably work. I'll need to get a couple more out since I'm using this here. And we're just going to end this baby on a pearl. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of extra wire, and that's because it wasn't paying enough attention and ended up cutting about double what I needed. So that's all right. That's one side's done here, and we'll go ahead and do the other side now, exactly like this side. So I'm going to put this here so I can see what I'm doing when I go ahead and make this other side. However, this other side, since you already watched me do that side, you don't really need to watch me do this side. So we will bring these beads out where I can get to them. Duh, I've got them buried up there. Don't need this yet. But we will put the bead stopper on the one side, and we will get going on this and this will be exactly the same as this side over here. And like I say, since it is exactly the same, we're going to fast forward through here. Okie dokie, now we have the strands finished. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put away these extra spacers. And I might need these, so I'll leave these out. These are my crimp tubes and things. So I don't need the spacers, so we're going to put the spacers away. And then we're going to, I feel sort of silly for cutting all that extra wire because like I said, I doubled what I needed because I cut what I wanted for the whole of the size of the necklace. And I didn't need that much because, well, obviously we're not going to be using that much. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure all of our strands are pretty well tight to where they need to be. No loose gaps here. I think I've got these pretty good here on this side anyway. And then we're going to crimp. Slide a crimp tube on here on this side. Both wires. Make sure we've got it pretty tight here because we're at the end here and we don't want a big gap. So it looks like we're pretty good all the way along. So we'll get our crimping pliers and we'll crimp this right here. Turn. are. It's pretty good. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Make sure all our wire is down here good. We'll get the next crimp tube on. There you are. Slide it all the way down on both lines. Make sure the lines are pulled up good and tight. They seem to be. So then we'll crimp this side. Now the pearl is going to try to push up, so we'll just push it back as we crimp, and then we'll turn and crimp again. Now, because we have, we're going to double crimp this because we're going to need our loop for our lobster claw and such. So we'll take our crimps, get one more on, put it down to the bottom. Now, because this will only allow one more wire through, we're going to leave one of the wires up there. Come, baby, come on down. And I don't want to twist it in like I've got it right here, so let's pull it out. And then we're going to pull it down. We get it down like so. Give it, it doesn't need very much because it just needs a loop for our jump ring to go through. So that should be sufficient. So now we're going to crimp that second crimp. So put it in there and squish and turn and squish. Okay, now that we've got that done, we need to get the extra wire off. So we'll just bend this a little bit. We got to get in there pretty darn close because we don't want a lot of extra wire hanging off the edge. And now to do the same with this, just slide it right down till you get to it and just clip it off. And as I said, see, I have a lot more extra wire. It's probably almost a foot there, which is pretty sad that I did that, but oh well. I can put it aside and use it for bracelets and other double up things here. So then we'll do the same over here. Get another crimp on here and do a double crimp on it. Looks like I may have an extra crimp or two. Oh no, I know what I'm going to use those for. Onto here. Now take one of the lines and turn it and put it back through. That went through pretty easy today. And I've got this one twisted together, so we need to pull that out of there. Push it down all the way to the bottom here. and tighten her up till you get the size of loop you want. And this is in here again. I don't want this facing this direction. If you can see, it's got this wire's coming out from the top, but it's going through the loop, so we don't want that. So let's, come on, you come through there. There we go. So now that we've got that how we want it, we're gonna tighten this loop up just a hair's breadth, because we only need it, like I say, to hold our jump ring. So then we'll get our crimp tubes in here, our crimping pliers, and crimp this second crimp. And now we're going to cut it off. So like I say, we want to get in there pretty darn close, as close to the crimp tube as we can get. The same with this one. Make sure you don't grab your loop though. And there is this portion done. And it's gonna be a nice little... So now we need to put on our lobster claw and our jump ring here. And then we need to do our last thing we need to do. And I'll show you that in just a second. So let's get this on. Just pretty simple. Just open up a jump ring. The smaller one is for this, for the lobster claw. And then we have this one, bigger one, for the other side. Okay. Okay. That's what she's looking like so far. And you'll notice I still have a few things here. That few things is to hook this little guy. He's going to go from like this. He's going to go in here. I'm going to put one of these little guys down here for him to loop around on. I'm going to need one more crimp, I think. That's all right. So then what I'm going to do, don't need these guys though, is I'm going to crimp this little guy, and he's going to hold on to the bottom down here. So it'll look like, let's get these things moved a little so I can show you what I want to do here. He's going to sit here. And I'm going to crimp him up at the top because he's got two wires coming out of here. And I don't want it to just go flying all over the place. So we're going to, and then we're going to bring it up to here. Now I could bring some, I think I have enough gray beads. I could put some beads on the wire, or we can see what we want to do. But hey, I've got lots of extra wire, so no problem here. Just take a hunk of this. Take a piece of the smaller. Well, how small is this piece? If it's like 10 inches, I don't want to. Too small for a bracelet. So this is going to be excess stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our super duo on here, go through our bird. I hope he'll take 2 strands. I'm not sure he will. If he won't, then this isn't going to work. Through here, around our little guy here, back through the super duo, and then we'll see if he'll go through here. Come on, little guy, let him go through. Maybe ream it out just a teeny weeny bit. Got it. Okay. Come on, you. All the way to the bottom. Not quite there. Close, but not quite. See, this little guy has got to go to the middle and pull these guys relatively tight. There we go. Then we're going to put the other super duo on the top. And see, it tries to come up, and that's why I want to crimp it right here at the top. Your turn. Don't want that. Okay, push this down as much as we can, and we're going to crimp this right up here at the top. And that'll hold our little dangle in a good place. So then we're going to bring these up to either side here and crimp them up there. I think what we will do is, since we still have a few little gray beads, we will see what that looks like with them on here. think. Let me see here. Do I still have? There's one. Thought I had. Oh, there's two. Good. We'll put. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to crimp these on here now to the bottom of the bird thing right here, like so. And then this little guy is entirely finished. But I'll need one more crimp because I used this one here and I hadn't counted it when I was going for my crimps. So I'll get one more crimp out and we'll crimp that on and it will be done. We don't need these last four little beads here. Go back in there. Very little of this kit left. Just the crystal-like ones that were. And I'm going to slide these off so we don't lose them while we're getting the first one crimped. Put it right here. Put this crimp bead on, or tube I should say. And we're going to go through our bird in the same hole where our necklace piece is at here, or the branch of the necklace, however you want to call it. And we're going to, now because this won't go through the little gray bead twice, we're going to have to crimp it. Get out of the way. We're going to have to crimp it really as close as we can and then trim the extra wire off. So it's going to go just like so. We're going to get it just a touch tighter. Don't want it horribly tight because we do want to be able to have it move some. So we'll put our crimping pliers in and crimp. And then we'll turn it and crimp it some more. The little bird's tail is getting in my way here. It doesn't want to let me crimp it. See, yep, okay. Now we'll cut this side off. And we'll put our beads back on the other side and put that on. So, little tiny, a gray, my 2 spacers, gray again. Come on, baby. And then my crimp tube. Now we have to put it through the other side of our bottom piece here and up through our crimp. And pull her up. Now we want this to be relatively even, so play around with it a little bit. I think that's good about there, so we will crimp it, turn, crimp, turn, turn. And now that we've got that crimped, we cut this extra little bit of wire off. Slide it up as close to your crimp tube as you can. And there we go. That is now on there to add a little dangle to our necklace. And our necklace is now done. Now it's a little long to show you it in its entirety here. Maybe I can pull the camera up a little bit, see what we can see it better. But there we go. And there's the bottom part down here. Our little guy here at the bottom. I think that turned out really cute. So there we go. So here we are. This is our necklace. All finished. This is the outer wires, so it's big enough to go over your head, which I hadn't intended it to be that long, but I like it, so that's all right. So let's see if I can get back enough that you can see what it looks like. Let's see. These are a little longer than I would have liked them because this one is shorter, so it should have been like 1 pearl less, but it's all right. Closer so you can see a little better maybe. There we go though. There's our necklace all finished. Like I say, I probably should have taken a couple of pearls out so that it wasn't quite so big of a loop on the upper branches. And if you'll recall, I did worry about that, but they'll work. They're just going to be a little wider than the bottom one, but because I'm not going to restring it. Anyway, so there is our necklace using our SoftFlex's Design Challenge Kit, Birds of a Feather. I like the bottom part especially. I really like how that turned out. The upper strands, like I said, could have been a little smaller, but they're not bad. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been using, again, SoftFlex Company's Birds of a Feather Design Challenge Kit. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.